Next, we will discuss an application of discrete random variables, which is very widespread but commonly misunderstood. Let's consider the following example. An airline sold all tickets on a 150-seat plane. Given that only 98% of the people who purchased the ticket show up for their flight, let's find the probability that all 150 people show up for their flight. To start the solution, we introduce a variable. Let x be the number of people out of 150 that purchased a ticket and show up for the flight. Then x is a binomial random variable with parameters n equals 150 and p equals 0.98. The probability that all 150 passengers will show up for the flight can be found by using the formula for k equals 150. So the probability that all 150 passengers will show up for the flight is roughly 4.8%. In addition to finding this probability, we can also find and interpret the expected value, which is equal to 147. In this context, we expect only 147 passengers to show up for the flight. So what does that mean? This means that we can sell more than 150 tickets for a 150-seat plane. And since not everyone is going to show up, we can make more money by selling more tickets. This practice is called overbooking. Let's do another example. An airline sold an extra 3 tickets on a 150-seat plane. Given that only 98% of the people show up for their flight, find the probability that at most 150 people will show up. This is the probability of the event in which the airline will have a seat for everyone who shows up. This is the best possible outcome for the airline. To start the solution, we again introduce a variable. Let x be the number of people out of 153 that purchased a ticket and showed up for their flight. X is a binomial random variable with parameters n equals 153 and p equals 0.98. The probability that less than or equal to 150 passengers will show up for their flight can be found by using technology. So the probability that the airline will have a seat for everyone who shows up for the flight is roughly 60%. So what happens when too many passengers show up for their flight? They will be offered a compensation for their travel. Every airline decides how many tickets to sell for every flight in such a way to maximize the profit and minimize the probability of getting in trouble. We discussed an application of binomial random variables called overbooking. You may see these practices in airline, hospitality, and car rental industries.